Hello students, we are meeting after quite many days, not meeting directly, but using the internet. And let me tell you that for this semester, the explanation is going to be in the same way with a little difference. I will also be explaining to you the exercises for this semester. And since we are starting with our first chapter, that is a poem, The Sea's Treasures, it is a very short chapter and we have very few exercises. So it will be explained to you in just one video. In case any chapters are big, in case we have many exercises, depending on the length of the lesson and the exercises, the video may be divided into two parts, but I will be mentioning the name over there with proper numbers. So in this video, we will be learning about our first poem, that is The Sea's Treasures. First of all, let us see, it is written by Daphne Lister. Now this is a woman who likes to write poems related to children or poems that children love to listen to. In swept the sea with a swirl and a swish. It shimmered and whispered, "Choose what you wish." I'll explain to you. In swept the sea. In means inside. Swept. Now this is a past tense of the word sweep. What do you mean by sweep? When we take a broom and we clean something, it is called as sweeping. Now just imagine that you are holding a broom and sweeping. Just try to remember that motion, that movement of your hand going from one place to the other, and it doesn't go slowly, that movement is a bit fast. So in the same way, a sea also sweeps in, but since this is a past tense, we will say in swept the sea. Let me take you to the meanings. Swept, moved something with force, that means using a little bit of speed. With a swirl and a swish. Now let us see what is swirl. Move in circles. And the meaning of swish is move with a hissing sound. Now it is not easy to explain to you using the meanings. So I'll take you to YouTube. Just watch this video. Pay attention to all these waves over here. Just see, look at these lines. From here also you can observe when it becomes dark blue in color. Notice how it starts forming circles. Let us go back to the PDF. With a swirl and a swish. Swirl means move in circles. You must have understood the meaning of swirl. Now what is the meaning of swish? Move with a hissing sound. Now what do you mean by hissing sound? It sounds like the word itself, hiss. That means you can hear a lot of s sound. Now you must have already been to beaches or must have been to seashores. Now whenever there are these kinds of waves, you can see it is forming circles. There is swishing sound. I'll show you another video over here. Now dear students, please note, this video is just for your explanation. In our poem, that is The Sea's Treasures, we are not talking about swirling and swishing in this manner. This is only being shown to you so that you understand better what is the meaning of swish and swirl. You can see over here the waves are not straight. You can see it is forming circles starting from here to here. That is the same thing that we saw in this video. You can see it starts from one end and goes to the other end. And whenever you go to any seashore, you go to any beaches, whenever there are these kinds of waves, you will understand what is swish. That is move with a hissing sound, which also means that you can both see and listen. You can see the movement of water and you can listen to the hissing sound. It shimmered and whispered. Now, what is shimmer? Let me go to the meanings once again. Shone with a soft, wavering light. Shone is the past tense of shine. Shone with a soft. Now, what is soft and what is wavering light? I'll give you another example. As you can see, this water over here is very calm, very peaceful, not like this one. Now, this water has a lot of waves and very huge waves, but this is a very calm kind of wave, and this is exactly what is also mentioned in your textbook. So, going back to the poem, it shimmered and whispered. Shimmered means whenever there are waves, as you can see in this video, sunlight is coming somewhere from here. So you can see even the sunlight is getting reflected on the water. That means the water is shining because of the sunlight. This is known as shimmered. Shimmered and whispered. What do you mean by whispered? Now, as I'm talking to you, I am not whispering. I'm speaking in a normal voice. But if I whisper, just listen to the difference between talking normally and whispering. Choose what you wish. Choose what you wish. I don't know if you can hear that clearly or not, but in Hindi it is known as fusfusana, right? When you try to tell some secrets to your friends, you cover your mouth and you go close to their ears and you speak in a soft voice. That is known as whispering. Choose what you wish. And who said this? The sea. Moving on to the next stanza. And the sea showed its treasures. Treasures means khazana. Now you may think that where are treasures in the sea? You must have also seen many cartoons, many movies, wherein they show that under the sea there are many treasures. But those are just stories. We actually don't have any gold, any silver under the water. But what do you mean by treasures? Let us see further. At the edge of the shore. That means nadi ke kinare. Shore means on the edge. Shining bright pebbles and shells by the score. I'll explain to you one by one. Treasures already explained to you. Edge of the shore means nadi ke kinare. Shining bright pebbles. Treasures means shining bright pebbles. I'll show you some images over here. You can see all these stones over here. These are not stones that you will get everywhere. If you look around you, you won't get these stones. These stones are usually found near the sea. You can see these also. These kinds of stones you will get only near the water. These also and these also. Now students, you must be thinking why these are known as treasures. Just imagine that you are playing on a beach or seashore and you find these kinds of stones or maybe these kinds of stones. You automatically become happy because you automatically feel that I have found something really worth, something really precious or something really expensive. Now, why does that happen? Because expensive things are not found everywhere. For example, gold. Gold is costly. You won't get gold just anywhere. That's why it is expensive. Now, these stones, these pebbles are known as treasures of the sea. When you see these kinds of stones, you automatically start liking even stones. But if you see any other stones around you, it will be something really dull, something really normal. You won't be interested. But when you find these kinds of stones, you automatically start liking them. That is the reason stones are also known as treasures. And let me also tell you, pebbles in Hindi it is known as kankad. Shining bright pebbles and shells by the score. You already know the meaning of shell. It is a kind of kavach that we say in Hindi. Now here is an example of shell. You can see this thing. You must be knowing about snails. On their back they have a round thing, a round covering. That is known as shell. We had also seen the example of shells in which chapter? Try to remember. It was a chapter of Zen and Manza, how stories came about. So those are known as shells. And shells by the score. What you mean by the score? In large numbers. That means there were many shells. Now let us move on to the next stanza. Long ribbons of seaweed. You know the meaning of long. You also know the meaning of ribbons. Seaweed. What is seaweed? I'll just show you an example. You can see over here, this is a kind of plant that does not grow on land. Students, please note, these kinds of plants do not grow on land. I'll just open this image for you. You can see this is under the water. Here are various examples of seaweeds. I'll give you some other examples as well. Now these are also seaweeds but green in color. And you can see over here some kinds of seaweeds can also be eaten. So here we are talking about long ribbons of seaweed that shone gold and red. Shone is a past tense of shine. That was shining like golden and red colors. I'll share them. I'll share. Now who is I? I is the sea. So the sea is saying, I'll share them. I'll share. The sea softly said. Softly means in a soft voice. The volume was a bit slow and calm. Now, what is the sea talking about sharing? It is going to share seaweed and also the pebbles. Because the sea is never going to scold you if you take away pebbles from there. Now, many of you must have experienced this, that whenever you go to a seashore, you like to collect the pebbles and take them home. If some of you have aquariums at home, you take pebbles maybe from any shops or maybe from the seashore and you put it in the aquarium. Because after all, it is known as treasures and it also looks beautiful. So that is all about this poem written by Daphne Lister. Now going to the meanings, I already explained to you each of these words. Swept, swirl, swish, shimmered by the score, pebble and seaweed. So there is no need of explaining to you this again. Let us move on to the next PDF. That is our question answers. Question 1. How did the sea sweep into the land? Now if you go to the poem, you will not find this word directly. In swept the sea. But the question is what? How did the sea sweep? I told you earlier, swept is the past tense of the word sweep. The sea swept into the land with a swirl and a swish. Next one. What did the sea whisper? The sea whispered, choose what you wish. Now, students, let me ask you, who is this you? Now, you can be your own selves, it can be myself, it can be anybody. That means the sea is speaking or whispering to each and everybody that choose what you wish. But from which things? From the treasures of the sea, that is the pebbles. How many things did the sea bring in? The sea brought in pebbles, shells, and long ribbons of seaweed. Which word in the poem rhymes with shore? Let me remind you once again. Rhyme means जो सुनने में एक जैसा लगता है. Which word rhymes with shore? Now forget about this answer. Let us go to the poem. Just keep in mind this word, shore. Let us go to the poem and read it very quickly. In swept the sea with a swirl and a swish. It shimmered and whispered, choose what you wish. And the sea showed its treasures at the edge of the shore. Now the word is over here, shore and shore. Shining bright pebbles and shells by the score. Now you may stop over here thinking that shore sounds like score. सुनने में दोनों एक जैसे लगते हैं. So these are known as rhyming words. You must have also observed in the poem we have rhyming words over here. Swish, wish. Shore, score. Read, said. Now you must have noticed that the spellings are different but they sound a bit same. These are known as rhyming words. So the word which rhymes with shore is score. What was the color of the seaweed? The seaweed was gold and red in color. So we have very easy question answers in this lesson. The poem is also easy to understand. And students, if you did not understand anything, please go back to that part in the video and watch it again. And before ending this video, I do not know about the holidays, dear students. I do not know the exact date, but looking at the calendar, I feel that Diwali is very close at hand. I would like to wish all of you students a very happy Diwali in advance. Stay home, stay safe, enjoy with your family. Take care and God bless you. Thank you, students.